Okay, so good morning everyone. So today we will discuss the next topic, which is nothing but the classification of data structure. Okay, already we have discussed what is data structure, what are the properties of data structure, how a data structure should be. Okay, is my screen visible to every one of you? Please reply, any one of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So we have seen that data structure is divided into two types of types. First one is the primitive type of data structure, and another one is the non-primitive type of data structure. So in primitive we have integer, float, character, boolean, etc. And but non-primitive, it is a type of data structures which are derived from these primitive data structures. Okay, so what are these data structures? Again, we have a further classification for that in two parts. First one is the linear, and another one is the non-linear data structure. So as far as the linearity property is concerned, it is again first divided into four types. First one is array, linked list, stack, and queue. And in non-linear, if you consider, means they are not linear, they are not following the linearity property. So these are trees and graph. Everyone knows that these trees and graphs are the hierarchical data structure. Okay, so they do not follow this linearity property associated with data structure type. So that's why we have classified into a non-linear data structure type. So everyone take a screenshot of this. Please give a quick confirmation after you have taken the screenshot of this. Have you taken the screenshot? Yes, please
Yes, sir.
reply. Okay, okay. So what do you mean by this primitive data structure? Okay, as we have seen, it is classified into four types. These primitive data structures are the data structures which are defined by the compilation itself, which are designed by the program itself, which are designed by the language itself during designing all the rules for the language. These data types are directly understood to the machine itself. Suppose if you give a value of 50, the machine will be able to recognize that it is an integer type of data structure. Okay, it will it will definitely recognize that it is an integer type of data structure. So these primitive data structures are the type of data structures which are directly understood by the machine it themselves. Okay, that's why they are called as the primitive data structure. See, in C language, what are the various primitive data structure? Already we know what are the primitive data structures. These are nothing but integer, float, character, and pointer. Okay, double, etc. These are the basic structures and are directly operated upon by the machine instructions. Okay, these in general have various different representation on different computers. Okay, example: integer, floating point number, character constant, string constant, pointers. All these types of data types are nothing but your primitive data type. Okay, these data types are directly understood by the machine itself, means there is no third processing required for in order to understand this type of data structure. So that is why they are called as primitive data type. Okay, they are directly understood by the machine itself. Set of operation that can be performed on this data are also predefined. Okay, also these data types are used to represent a single value. Example I have given: if we represent 50, then it is an integer type. If we represent any mark or percentage of a student, then it will be a floating type. If we represent answer to any objective type A, B, C, D, then it may be a character type. If you represent a name, then it will be a string type. If you represent a password, then it may be a string type. If it is a boolean, then you will either represent the logical values. The boolean data type have only two values. First one is 0 and second one is 1, which is also called as true or false. If it is true, then it will be 1. If it is 0, it will be false. Okay, so boolean data type have only two values, which are just true and false. Just remember this thing. Okay, and double is a number with a floating type of number, but with a very high precision values. Okay, So this is all about the primitive data structure. Just you keep in mind that primitive data structures are directly understood by the machine itself. These data structure are machine defined. These data types are machine defined. When it is defined, whenever the programmer or compiler was launched for any programming language, at that time itself these data types were defined. Okay, and there is no third party requirement for execution of these data types. Okay, but if you see the another classification, what is the another type? Another type is the non primitive. So if you go for the non primitive data type, then these are derived from the primitive data structure. Okay, already I have just told you that these are the derived data structure or data types which are derived from the primitive data types, and these are called as the non primitive data types. Okay, remember the difference between primitive and non primitive. Primitive are easily understood by the machine. Non primitive can be made understood to the machine with the help of primitive data types. Primitive data type hold a single value. Okay, here you can see I have just represented that it is holding a single value. But if you go for the non primitive data type, it is used to store a group of values. So a question can be asked, differentiate between primitive and non-primitive, then these points may be useful for you. Okay, and what are these non-primitive? Again, we have seen that we have divided into two types, linear and non-linear. So those are having the linear property. Suppose if you go for an array, then that array is having successfully following all the properties of linear data structure. Okay, so it is array is a type of a linear data structure. And why we call this linear data structure? Because of this only one word, and that is sequential. Okay, sequential execution of data. Array follows the sequential execution of the data. That's why it is called, it is supposed to follow the linearity data structure property. In linear data structure, only one data element can be directly can directly be reached at a particular time. Means at a single execution only one value will be executed. It includes arrays, linked list, stack, queues. Now what are these data structure? I will just give a brief explanation so that you can understand it very thoroughly. Okay, non-linear, these are the type of data structure which follow some hierarchical order, which are not linear in fashion. So such type of data structure can be tree, graph, where it requires more amount of memory for processing, for storage, for execution. See, linear data structure, if you just write a block of an array, int a of 10, means it will definitely allocate 10 blocks of memory in a linear, in a consecutive fashion in memory. But if you define a tree or a graph, it will just require more memory as compared to that of linear data structure. So non-linear data structures are having, they are not following the linearity property, they are just following the hierarchical data structures. And what are the types of that? The types are trees, graph, etc. And we will see one by one. But moving forward, just linear data structures, I have just discussed that it is an array, linked list, stack, and queue. Just moving forward, I will just explain you one more thing. What is linked list? Linked list array is a compile time allocation which is just allowing you to store all your data under a common name in a linear pattern. What is an array? An array is a collection of elements of same data type which are stored under a common name in a linear fashion. Okay, just above that is, just next to that is a linked list. Linked list is also a collection of elements, but it is having two parts. First one is the info, that is the information or your data, and another one is the link, that is the address of the next node. Means you have seen how a chain is being connected to one and another. In that fashion, the linked list works, which is having divided into two parts. First one is the info part or the data part, and another one is the link of the next node which is connected to that node. Okay, so it is possible, it is having the dynamically memory allocation strategies for linked list. In array, we have static allocation. In linked list, we have dynamic memory allocation. Now, what is this concept of stack and queue? I will explain this with an help of example. So just see this. I have one good website for you. Just I will share this link with you in the chat box. Have you received the link? These are the various types of data structures. Have you received the link in the chat? Everyone, please reply.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can either reply
Yes,
on
sir.
chat also, you can reply audio also. So one member can unmute herself, himself, and can speak, and other can reply on the chat. Okay. So just I have given this for your reference. It is good for you to study. See, what is an array? An array is nothing but it is fixed structure of fixed type which hold item of the same type. I am already told you that it will hold all the data items which will be of same type. If you see what is the size of this array, it is 3. All type of this array is integer array. Okay. How will you declare this? Int a of 3. Okay. Subscripts start with 0. Next element will be 1 and another element will be 2. So these elements or the data is called as the elements, and this subscripts value 0, 1, 2 are called as the index. And we very well know that the array index always starts with 0. The subscript of array index always starts with 0. So what is the size of this? So n minus 1 will be the maximum size of the elements whenever the index is starting from 0. Okay. So size of this array is 3 elements, but when you represent that 3 elements with a subscript, that will be represented by n minus 1, which is 3 minus 1 is 2. Why? Because its subscript always starts with 0. What are the various operation you can traverse? Traverse means visit all the elements in that array one by one. You can search for an element. You can either update a value in a given index in a given array. Okay. Application of array, we can use array for, you know, where all we can use array for basic use for building blocks to build another data structure such as array, list, heap, hash table, vector, and machines. See, all this type of data structure is in your syllabus, which will be covered in all the 6 units. So don't worry about that. Just read all this. What is the content? Linked list. I will. This is the best example. See this diagram here. You can, from this diagram you can see what is a linked list. Okay. Linked list is again a sequential structure, but it has dynamic memory allocation. Just understand what I am trying to say you. It is in sequential order, but these nodes are placed at a dynamic location. See, when I place an array in the memory, it will occupy the values in the memory allocation will be sequential, one after the another. It will be allocated a continuous block of memory. But in linked list, these nodes may be placed at a random positions, random locations in memory. And how do we connect them? But just by putting the address of the next node to the previous node. Your key is your value, is your data or your information, and next is the pointer to the value of the next node which is being connected to this node. This value is not continuous. It can be placed at any random location in the memory. Just understand what is the difference between array and linked list. Okay. So a linked list is nothing but it is a sequential structure that contains of a sequence of items in a linear order which are linked to each other. How they are linked? By using the next pointer, by using the link pointer. Through the link pointer, you are writing the address of the next node in the this node. Suppose if this is the node and the value of this current node is 100, the value of next node is 104, suppose. So this 104 will be noted down in the next part of the first node. Okay. So what it will specify? So it will specify 104 here. Value is your data. So first data, suppose let us consider that first data is 1. So what will be the value of this? 1 and 104. What is 104? 104 is the address of this next node. Are you understanding? Are you understanding?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir.
गिरीश महाजन सर, आपका यूट्यूब चैनल की लिंक शेयर कीजिए प्लीज. हियर इट इज, आई विल शेयर इट. youtube.com. आई विल डेफिनेटली शेयर इट, डोंट वरी गिरीश. मैं अभी शेयर करता हूँ, कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं, पर ये अलग अकाउंट है मेरा. जो यूट्यूब चैनल का लिंक है वो मैं आपको शेयर कर दूंगा, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. ओके. Okay, so what are the different types of linked lists? Again, there are several type of linked lists. First one is the single linked list. Here this is an example of a single linked list. It is divided into two parts. Are you understanding? Please reply. Unmute करो आपके mic और बोलो आपको समझ में आ रहा है.
Yes, sir.
Everyone please reply so that I will get a good idea, because
Yes, sir.
you people are new to me. I don't know you personally, neither we have met, so I don't know what is your status. तो आप बेटा अनम्यूट करो और बोलो आपको समझ में आ रहा है.
Yes, sir.
ओके, शुभम नारखेड़े
Yes,
बोलो.
sir.
ओके ओके गुड.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so there are many types of linked lists. So first one is the single linked list. This is an example of a single linked list. In double linked list, you will have two addresses. One will be an address of previous node, another will be an address of next node. If I see, I will show you an example. See, are you looking, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So this is an example of double linked list. This diagram is an example of an double linked list. Here you can see. So in double linked list, you will be having two parts. See here, you can see this 45 is your data. What is this? This is the address of the previous node, and this pointer will be containing the address of the next node. Just let this diagram load. I will give you good example. Just see this diagram. See, this is the address of the previous node. This is the address of the next node. So here A is your data, and it is having two addresses part. Are you getting? If you see this diagram previously, it is having only one data value and one link of next address. It is not capable of moving in backward direction. Single linked list is only possible moving in only forward direction. But in double linked list, you can see you can move either in forward direction as well as in backward direction. Why? Because you are having the value of addresses of previous node and the next node also. Okay. So this is the syntax. Just take a screenshot of this screen which is in front of you. 1 minute. Let me just 1 minute. Just wait. Okay. Now take a screenshot of this double link list. If it is done, please let me know. Is it done?
Sir,
Yes.
जो ये डबल लिंक लिस्ट है, मतलब उसमें ये गूगल क्रोम जो है वैसा वैसा ही है क्या? मतलब जिसमें हम लोग बैकवर्ड फॉरवर्ड जा सकते हैं, उसी तरीके से गूगल क्रोम भी लिखा गया है क्या?
नहीं. See, this is a type of implementation in memory. Google Chrome is an application. Okay.
तो द प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में लिखा गया है, तो थोड़ा बहुत सेम है क्या, अलग है दोनों?
See, this is a type of implementation of your code in memory. Whatever data we are saving at runtime, this data can be stored in the form of either array or either linked list. whereas
Okay.
Google Chrome is an application which is using this data structure.
Okay.
Okay, it is developed on the application which are using this data structure. Every application which are you are using today is based on this data structure. Each
Okay.
and every application. If you are writing a Google, see, if you see Google Chrome, it is also developed in some of the programming languages. Yes
Yes,
or
sir.
no?
Yes, yes.
All programming languages are using this data structure. Either you can see, here is your answer. It is in C, it is in Java, or
Java and
either it is
Python.
in Python. So any programming language you use to develop any type of application, not only Google Chrome,
Hmm.
though all those applications uses this data structure, but it is up to the user which data structure should be used. See, if you are using Google Chrome, can you use an array?
No.
No, because array doesn't suppose a runtime initialization of these values, whereas this linked list can.
Yeah.
Okay, and in linked list it is possible to retrieve the third element also
Yes.
at any runtime.
Hmm.
Also, in array, you cannot delete an element which is in the middle of an array. You cannot add an element which is at the middle of an array. You can add an element to the beginning of an array. You can add an element to the end of the array. But if I tell you to just insert an element in the intermediate position in an array, it is possible.
So in programming language, in list, in Python, in list is possible. I think so.
It is possible, but directly if you use an array, is it possible?
If direct, no.
No. So you have to make some provision in that. If
Yeah.
an array is declared of 10 elements, and if you are having all the 10 values filled, and if I just tell you to insert a new value in the intermediate location, is it possible?
No.
If you are working in Python, that is an purely object oriented language, Python. But as
Hmm.
you compare with C is a structural language, so it doesn't suppose the dynamic writing of concept in C language because it is following the structured approach.
Okay.
If you follow the Java and Python, it is all those are the object oriented programming languages. In list you can able to modify the values at runtime also, because Python is an interpreted language.
Yeah.
Java, and whereas C is a compiled and
Compiled
interpreted
language.
language.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
compiled and interpreted.
Yeah.
Okay, first you have to compile, then you have to run. So during compilation you have to specify how much amount of memory you will use, whereas in Python or in Java you don't have to arbitrarily specify how much amount of memory you will be using.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so this
Yes,
is
sir.
just a brief introduction. All these concepts, see here you can see, you will see concept of linked list in unit number 4. When you will come to unit number 4, I will explain you everything in detail. But now
Yes.
just we are discussing that you should know what is an what are the different type of data structure which we are studying. So this everything you have to study. See, unit number 4, linked list, one full unit of 6 hours you will be just studying all the linked list, various operation, memory allocation, how memory allocation is done, what is garbage collection. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then stack and queues, and then
Yes.
non-primitive data structures such as tree and graph. So this everything is your syllabus, so don't worry, we will just go step by step, but you should know what is currently what are the different type of data structures. So it's my responsibility to give you an overview of what are the different type of data structures, because many students have been listening to this linked list at the first time. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so don't worry. 8 mark question may be asked. What are the on this topic? What is classification of data structure? So if on that topic it is asked, then you have to write all this. Okay, first one is
Mm.
array, linked list, then stacks. What is this stack is nothing but last in first out
Last
type
in
of
first.
data structure. Okay, in which the element which are you are putting in the list first will be taken out last. Okay, it is a type of data structure at which one end is always close. एक जगह से वो बंद रहता है, यानी जो आपका बाल्टी हो गया, सपोज दैट बकेट है, वो बकेट एक टाइप ऑफ एग्जांपल है स्टैक के लिए. Okay, And if you try to see an example of a stack diagram, you can see. I will just explain you. See, so this is an example of a stack. You can see element placed one after the another. एक के ऊपर एक elements रखा गया है. Okay, so just diagram. This is the best diagram which we should. Okay, just see this diagram. You can see when a new element is pushed, it is added on the top of the stack. See, when next 23 is pushed, it is placed on the top where 42 was placed previously. If you push 2, then again it will be placed on the top. See, here you are placing means inserting. That insert operation is called as push operation. Okay, that insert operation is called as push operation. And first 42 will be pushed, then next 23 will push, and then 2 will be pushed. So the element which is inserted first is taken out at the last. So here if I see, if I just tell you this is a last in first out, means जो वैल्यू लास्ट में अंदर आई है सबसे, वो सबसे पहले बाहर जाएगी. So if you consider this diagram here, 2 is inserted at the last, but it will be taken out first. Why? Because see, one end is closed over here. Okay, if you want, I can just give an screenshot link of this in chat also. Stack example. Stack diagram. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Please reply.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here one end is always closed. So such type of, see here it is given. This is always one end is always closed, and next element which is to be inserted, that operation is called as the push operation. So already existing elements. So in this diagram, if you consider which is the first element pushed in this stack,
X1.
X1 definitely. Which is the last?
X5.
Which is the element which is taken out first?
X5.
And which is taken out last?
X1.
X1. So this type of data structure, this is similar to that of an array, yes or no? But in array, you can either move from starting to end or either from end to starting, but it is a two, it's both the ends are open, but if you see here, one end is always closed. Okay, so this is having some abstract data types, and what are those? Either it will be empty, either it will be full, either it will be overflow, either it will be underflow. So what are these? We will discuss when we study in this unit number 5. We will study in detail what is stack, what is queue. Don't worry about that. I will just explain you everything in detail. Okay, but for now you just understand what is the stack. It is just nothing but it is a last in first out type of data structure in which one end is always closed. The element which is inserted first is taken out last. The element which is inserted at the last is taken out first. This type of data structure is called as stack. It has several entities. This is an example. Application: conversion of one expression to another expression. Expression can be represented in 3 types: infix expression, prefix expression, and postfix expression. So this expression can be converted from infix to prefix, infix to postfix, and vice versa. Okay, so this is an example and working operations of stack. So you just have to write these all for 2 marks. Next one is the queue. You everyone knows what is a queue. It is a type of data structure in first in first out. जो अपन लाइन में खड़े रहते कहीं पे भी, जो पहला व्यक्ति लाइन में आएगा वो पहला व्यक्ति प्रोसेस होगा और वो पहला व्यक्ति बाहर जाएगा. एग्जाम्पल: अ नंबर ऑफ कार्स विच अपीयर एट अ टोल सेंटर. ओके, टोल नाका देखा होगा आपने, वहां पे कैसा है, जो कार पहले आएगी वो कार सबसे पहले उस टोल से बाहर जाएगी. So that type of data structure is a first in first out. So the element which is entering the system first will be processed out first. The element which is entering the system last will be processed last. This type of data structure is queue. Again, you can see here which is the first element inserted in the queue.
X1.
Which will be the first element taken out of queue?
X1.
Okay. Are you getting the difference between stack and queue? Please reply.
Yes, sir.
Everyone should reply. Are you understanding? आपको समझ में आ रहा है बेटा सभी को स्टैक और क्यू में क्या फर्क है?
Yes, sir.
Everyone should reply please.
Yes, sir.
कुछ डाउट है
Yes,
क्या
sir.
आपको? आपको कुछ डाउट है तो पूछो बेटा.
Clear, sir.
आपको डाउट है कोई? Okay. And these are some of the data structure which we will study in unit number 2, hash table. Then how to implement hash table, what is tree, hierarchical structure. Okay, example of a tree. Here you can see this is the hierarchy. This is at level 1, level 0, level. This is 56 is at level 0, 30 and 70 level 1, level 2, level 3 and level 4. Okay, so you can see at every level the height of the tree is growing on. It is minimum at the root node, but it is maximum at the leaf node. You can see the maximum number of nodes. And what is this? This is a tree which is a hierarchical data structure. See, in linear data structure अभी तक हम table बना रहे थे, but in hierarchical data structure you are not designing any table, but it is a type of data structure which requires dynamic memory allocation at runtime. And the example for that is tree data structure and graph data structure, heap data structure. Okay, graph, heap, these are nothing but this is an example of a graph. Okay, here you can see it is divided into two parts. First one is node, another one is the edge. This vertex is your node and the edge is this, which is represented by this blue color line. Okay, so in certain graphs there are again many types of graph: directed graph, undirected graph, weighted graph, unweighted graph. Okay, so there are many types. Just understand that these graphs are nothing but these are our type of your hierarchical data structure. Okay, so I have just shared this. इस पेज का लिंक मैंने आपके साथ ऑलरेडी शेयर किया है. Okay, here you can see this is the link. So if I click on this link, you will just come to this page where you can study and understand this concept. Okay, I have already shared. Any doubt till here? Any doubt? Please reply.
सर हायरार्कियल डेटा स्ट्रक्चर का एक बार फिर से बताइए ना.
हायरार्कियल डेटा स्ट्रक्चर वो होते हैं जिनको आपको डायनामिकली मेमोरी अलोकेट की जाती है. ओके, दे डू नॉट हैव अ पर्टिकुलर शेप. देयर शेप एंड साइज चेंजेस एज डायनामिकली ड्यूरिंग रन टाइम. ओके, यहाँ पे आप देखो कि जब इस स्ट्रक्चर में देखो, जब हम बता रहे इसका शेप, यहाँ पे जब मैंने एरे डिफाइन किया है, सी whenever I am defining this array, I will design this value during compile time. I will write int a of 3. Yes or no? Yes
sir.
or no beta bolo. हाँ, this value, how much value should be initialized, I am giving at compile time only. जब मैं declare कर रहा हूँ array को तभी मैं वहां पे लिख रहा हूँ int a of 3 and that value is initialized during compile time. But when I am using this linked list and then whenever I am using this linked list, trees and graph, I don't know what will be the value of these nodes at this point of time. I can specify the maximum value, but I don't know exactly how many nodes will be there in this tree at a particular point of time. So these values are allocated during runtime depending on the user requirement. उसको कितना value लग रहा है वो value उसको runtime पे allocate होता है. And the structure and size also is defined at runtime itself. At this point of time, if I come here and again if I tell insert 2 as the left child, then inserting 2 at the left node is already defined during runtime only. I will not say that during compile time that here 2 will be inserted. No. Why this? But can I again a question comprises here that सर क्या मैं इस स्ट्रक्चर के लिए वैल्यू कंपाइल टाइम पे इनिशियलाइज कर सकता हूँ? यस, You can initialize, but that will be your maximum value. That will be your maximum value. And if the tree is not specifying all the elements in that maximum value, then many of your data value will be wasted. Many of your memory will be wasted. And we don't want to waste any memory for computation, because we know that primary memory RAM is very low as compared to ROM memory. So we have limited amount of RAM memory. So we have to execute everything in that limited amount of RAM memory. So we cannot waste many of the memory by using just specifying these values at compile time. These values are being allocated during runtime only. Okay, these values are being allocated during runtime only. Hope I have answered. Afsana, सॉरी फरहात अली, कौन ने पूछा था प्रश्न?
जी सर, हमने पूछा था।
फरहात, हाँ, आपका नाम क्या बेटा? फरहत ना?
जी सर।
ओके, समझ में आया आपको?
हाँ सर।
ओके, गुड. स्टिल यू हैव एनी डाउट?
नो सर।
ओके, थैंक यू. तो ये चीज मैंने आपके साथ शेयर की है. ये अपने को यहाँ पे एग्जाम में कभी अगर ये पूछा कि जस्ट एक्सप्लेन डेटा स्ट्रक्चर, डिफाइन डेटा स्ट्रक्चर एंड एक्सप्लेन द क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ डेटा स्ट्रक्चर, तो अपने को यहाँ पे ये डायग्राम बनाना है, डेटा स्ट्रक्चर को डिफाइन करना है और ये सभी चीजों को अपने को एक्सप्लेन करना है. आई होप आई हैव एक्सप्लेन यू एवरीथिंग. यस और नो? प्लीज रिप्लाई. हेलो.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are the various operations that can be performed on data structure? Okay, so there are 4 major operations, but before performing any of the operation on the data structure, first we have to create a data structure. What we have to do? We have to create a data structure. Okay, so if I am telling of an array, array is a data structure, yes or no? Array is a data structure.
Yes.
Yes, it is a linear type of data structure. So before inserting any data, you need to create an array. So for any data structure, the first operation is creating an array. Once a data structure is created, another data structure operations are insertion, traversal, searching. Traversal means visiting all the elements in the data structure at least once is traversing. Searching, again, it is also just same like that traversal, but if we want to find a particular value is appearing in any of the data structure, then we follow the search operation. Suppose if I have an array of 10 elements and if I want to search 9 is present in the list of that 10 elements, so I will use the search operation. But I want to just read all the contents of that array, then I will go for the traversal operation. समझ में आ रहा है डिफरेंस क्या है ट्रैवर्सल ऑपरेशन में और सर्च ऑपरेशन में? सी इफ आई वांट टू सर्च 9 and that 9 is present at the first location in the array, will I search from second to the 10th location of the 10th element of the array? No. But if I am be told to visit and print all the elements in an array, that time I will apply the traversal property. So traversal means accessing each node in an array. If we are considering about array data structure, then each node exactly once so that the node of the data structure can be processed. This traversing is simply called as visiting. Whereas searching means finding the location of node or a value or a data among the given set of values. Okay. So this is the difference between traversing and searching. In stack is a data structure, yes or no?
यस सर।
Yes, sir.
ओके, इंसर्शन के लिए क्या नाम दिया था मैंने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले? पुश. और डिलीशन के लिए पॉप. क्यू के लिए इंसर्शन एनक्यू और डिलीशन डीक्यू. ओके, so there are these
DQ.
several DQ. Yes, correct. The process of adding an element to queue is NQ. The process of deleting an existing element from queue is DQ. The process of adding an element to the top of the stack is push. The process of the process of removing an existing element from the top of the stack is called as pop operation. Okay, so this is the difference between stack and queue. But the main operations are again insertion, deletion, searching, and traversing. Apart from this, there are again some operations which are sorting, merging. Merging means just combining two lists. Sorting, arranging data either in ascending order, either in descending order, either in alphabetical order, either in smaller letter A to Z order, something like that, or either in capital. Whatever the order is specified by the user, in that order we have to sort the data. Okay. The next is an representation of an information. See, what is the difference between data and what is the difference between an information? Many people get confused between these two. What is data and what is an information? Okay. So information is defined as any type of knowledge that can be exchanged, and information can be expressed. Data is a value which is having an attributes. Information is a parameter which has to be expressed, and it is represented by some type of data. These expressions are being represented in the system by using attributes, and when we specify attributes for this, that becomes our data. Okay. Example, information in a book is typically expressed or observed by the characters, which are then the data, which when they are combined with the knowledge of the language used, are converted into more meaningful information. Okay. What is an data? Here you can see a data is nothing but it is a reinterpretable representation of an information. Means suppose if we have a preliminary information, and when I try to collect the more attributes for that information, that becomes my data. Suppose if I give you an example to better understand that I have a bike. This is an information. My bike is Pulsar. This is data. I have a bike is an information, but when I'm trying to find out the more attributes for that data information, what type of bike it is, Pulsar. So that becomes my data now. Are you getting the difference between information and data? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Information is just your preliminary or primary source, but when you try to find out more attributes with that information, then you are having it then you can call it as your data. Okay. So it is very important for you to represent of an information that maps a data object into one or the more meaningful concept, and this concept is nothing but your representation of data. We can either represent this data in terms of fact, entities, data, values, field, record, which are the basic elementary operations which we have discussed previously. Okay. Example, do you know what is this ASCII definition? Yes, please reply. Do you know what is this ASCII definition? Yes or no? If you tell no, I will explain it. No, no need to worry. Do you know it?
No, sir.
See, whatever the term we are using, ASCII is nothing but this is your ASCII code. ASCII code. Okay. And you can see this is your ASCII table. ASCII full form is American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Okay, for information interchange. What is this table consisting of? Just see over here. Okay, total values are 255. Every day we are using these values. See, if we use the small letter A, in system. Are you able to see my screen? Reply karo
Yes,
beta.
sir.
Okay, see, if you are writing your name, how you are writing your name in English, but how computer understand this English? Does it understand English? No.
No,
Does your computer understand English? No, it understands only binary. Then how these words are being made understood to the computer? It is only with the help of this ASCII code. So if I write my name is Ram, so it is 72. So this R will be converted into 72 because its location is at 72. If I write a capital R, its value will be 50 type 52. Value of capital R is 52. Value of small r is 72. Next, the value of small letter a is 61. Value of capital letter a is 41. Okay. So through this value is converted into decimal, then this decimal is converted into binary. Are you understanding now what is this ASCII characters? These
yes,
are
sir.
nothing but these are used to convey whatever the user has interpreted high level language to your machine level language. Don't worry, I will just share this also with you. This is the, and without ASCII codes, no computer works. Huh? Just keep this in mind. Without ASCII code, nothing can be interpreted. So there is a value for everything. Here you can see, if you are writing question mark, it value is 63, X value. Okay, 3FH, the value will be converted into hexadecimal as 3FH. So this is nothing but all your values. See, from decimal, it is starting from 00 and maximum value is 255. So this is your ASCII code. What is ASCII? American Standard Code for Info. Here it is written, see, the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Just take a screenshot of this. इसका स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो बेटा सभी लोग. Have you taken? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't. If your screenshot is not clearly visible, don't worry. I have shared this link also. So when you go to this link, you can directly view this. Yes. ठीक है, यहाँ पे देखो, आप इस लिंक पे जाके स्टडी भी कर सकते हो. So this is how this ASCII information can be converted into your data by using this ASCII definitions. Okay. Main thing is that what is an algorithm? Okay. Why we are representing an algorithm? Yesterday or day before yesterday, I have put in some YouTube videos on your WhatsApp group. Whenever I am putting some videos, it is your responsibility to check and read all the YouTube videos which are being posted on that group for all subjects. Okay. So in that I have represented what is an algorithm. Algorithm is nothing but it is a finite set of instructions for a user to solve any type of problem. Suppose if I give you a problem that I want to compute the sum of 500 numbers, first 500 numbers. Okay. और फर्स्ट 100 नंबर्स का मुझे सम चाहिए. हाउ विल आई राइट? विल आई मैन्युअली कंप्यूट? नो, I will definitely just write an algorithm, a steps by step procedure through which I can obtain the sum of first 100 numbers which are coming one after the another. So thus these steps are user defined. Every algorithm is user defined. User can define this algorithm in his own language. This algorithm is having the property to solve the user problem. Okay. An algorithm is nothing but it is a mention of finite steps to solve any type of problem. If you want to calculate the square of a number, you have to write an algorithm. If you want to calculate the area of a triangle, again you have to write an algorithm. If you want to calculate area of a circle, again you have to write an algorithm. And in that algorithm, you will specify what is the formula for calculating square, rectangle, triangle, everything, circle. So once you know the formula, definitely you will write a solution for your problem. But if you don't know what is the formula, will you be able to find out the area of a circle or square or a rectangle? Definitely your answer is no. So algorithm is nothing but it is a step-by-step procedure to solve any type of problem. These algorithm are user defined. User can write an algorithm of his own choice. Suppose if there is a problem and that problem is given to 10 students, then 10 different algorithms can be seen. It is possible that every user will write his own algorithm according to his needs. Okay, so 10 users may write their own point of view in order to solve that process problem, and we can get 10 different algorithm. But which one we will code, the which algorithm will be coded is the best algorithm which we have obtained will be coded into your program. So what is the first step of a program is to write, understand the problem, and then write an algorithm. Many people say that sir problem program बनाने में difficulty होती है. The difficulty is not in coding, difficulty is in writing algorithm. Algorithm यानी क्या कि आपको किस प्रकार का प्रॉब्लम है, उस प्रॉब्लम का आपको सॉल्यूशन ढूंढ के निकालना है. If you are able to write a good algorithm, then you will definitely can code that algorithm steps into program. प्रोग्राम में हम बीच में इसीलिए अटकते हैं क्योंकि हमें पता नहीं होता है कि सर्टेन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम के बाद में आगे क्या करना है, क्योंकि हमें वो विजन क्लियर नहीं है कि एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम के बाद में क्या करना है. लेकिन आप जब अल्गोरिदम लिखोगे देन डेफिनेटली यू विल गेट अ गुड आइडिया हाउ टू solve your problem step by step and get an output. Okay, it can be expressed in three ways in any natural language such as English. मैंने अभी बताया कि आप इंग्लिश में लिखो, हिंदी में लिखो, किसी भी लैंग्वेज में लिखो. मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम. What is our problem? The problem is given as computer number to check whether the number is an Armstrong number or not. This is a problem. Now, how to check whether it is an Armstrong number? We have to find out the expression. We have to find out the formula to check whether the number is an Armstrong number or not. So for that, we have to write an algorithm. It can be in a very programming language or it can be in a type of flowchart. Okay, but remember one thing, algorithm is user defined. Every user can write algorithmic steps in his own language. Example, here you can see multiply two numbers. First I will write star, declare three integers x, y and z, define the values of x and y, multiply value of x and y. After multiplying x and y, then I will store the value in z, print z and then stop. This is one way. If I give this to another user, he can write like this: start, multiply, get values of x and y. Then after getting the values of x and y, I will definitely write x into y will give in as z, display z and stop. Means one user is writing algorithm in 7 steps, which is in much more detail. Another user is just completing in 5 steps. Another user may also write start, x equals to 5, y equals to 10, z equals to x into y, print z. So it can be reduced to 3 lines also. So just see what is changing in this. The number of lines are changing, but is the output changing? Please, output change हो रहा है क्या?
नहीं.
Everyone reply beta. Is the output changing?
No, sir.
No. Number of steps may change, but every output will remain the same. Okay, number of steps may change. Here you can see, here there are 7 steps, here there are 5 steps, but the thing is that number of steps may change, but output will always be the same. This is what is your algorithm. What is the property efficiency? Already I have given some YouTube videos. You just watch all the YouTube videos to calculate the efficiency. Efficiency is nothing but how well is your algorithm. आपने एक algorithm लिखा है, वो कितना बेहतर है. अगर आपका एल्गोरिदम बेहतर है, how will you calculate? We will calculate that on the basis of runtime analysis. How much time your algorithm is taking to execute in memory. On the basis of that, we will calculate the efficiency of an algorithm. And for that, we need some resources. And what are these resources? Computer memory, execution time, and getting the output. So each algorithm must definitely have. What are the 3-4 steps? First one is specification. क्या प्रॉब्लम है, प्रॉब्लम क्या है, उस हिसाब से हमको उसका स्पेसिफिकेशन देते आना चाहिए. If I am telling you to calculate an area of a rectangle, then I should know what is the area of a rectangle. What is an area of a rectangle? Area of a rectangle, length into breadth. So input हम क्या लेंगे, लेंथ और ब्रेथ की वैल्यूज लेंगे. Yes or no? Yes or no? डेफिनेटली. सो लेंथ और ब्रेथ की वैल्यूज हमें कैसे पता चला कि लेना है, क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम हमारा है कि एरिया ऑफ रेक्टेंगल कैलकुलेट करना है. प्री कंडीशन मींस अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज योर प्रॉब्लम एंड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट वी विल कैलकुलेट व्हाट इज द प्री कंडीशन, व्हाट विल बी द बॉडी ऑफ आवर एल्गोरिदम एंड व्हाट आर द पोस्ट कंडीशंस. पोस्ट कंडीशंस यानी आपका आउटपुट क्या मिलेगा. सी, steps may change but output will never change. That is your post condition. Okay, and for that, what is an efficiency? I have given the YouTube videos on that your WhatsApp group showing the best case, worst case and average case. वर्स्ट केस यानी सबसे ज्यादा समय उसको एग्जीक्यूशन को लग रहा है तो वो वर्स्ट केस होगा. सबसे कम समय लगा, मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ स्टेप्स, वो यानी बेस्ट केस. और एवरेज यानी बेस्ट और वर्स्ट का एवरेज निकालेंगे. सो बेस्ट में अगर 1 लग रहा है और वर्स्ट में 100 लग रहा है, so 1 plus 100 is 101 divided by 2 is equals to 51. So that will be your average case. Worst case यानी सबसे ज्यादा समय लग रहा है. See, maximum number of steps is your worst case. Best case, minimum number of steps. और average case में average number of steps. Okay? Average case में average number of steps will be required in order to compute the problem. So there are 3 efficiency of an algorithm. First one कौन सी है? First one,
worst case efficiency.
First one is always the best case.
अच्छा, best.
First one is always the best case. Second one is the average case.
Average.
And third one is your worst case.
Worst.
वर्स्ट केस में क्या होता है, सबसे ज्यादा आपका रिसोर्स ऑक्यूपाई होता है, सबसे ज्यादा टाइम लगता है उसको एग्जीक्यूट होने में, सबसे ज्यादा मेमोरी लगती है उसको स्टोर करने में. तो वर्स्ट केस जो है ये सबसे ज्यादा रिसोर्स ऑक्यूपाई करता है. बेस्ट केस सबसे कम एग्जीक्यूशन समय लगता है, और जैसे एग्जीक्यूशन उसको समय कम लगता है मींस हमको आउटपुट जल्दी मिलता है. सो व्हाट इज द 3 एफिशिएंसी ऑफ एन एल्गोरिथम? बेस्ट केस, एवरेज केस एंड वर्स्ट केस. But remember that if an input has size n, the efficiency will be a function of n. And what is this function? It is notation in this 3 types: O notation, omega notation and theta notation. So these are nothing but the functions which are used to represent n and is used to calculate the time complexity of an algorithm. So first one is O notation, second one is omega notation, and last one is the theta notation. So this O notation can also be called as big O notation. Okay, so this, for example of this, I have given you already the YouTube video lectures. For refer that for better understanding. This I have given. Just take a screenshot of this. What are the characteristics of an algorithm? An objective type question can be asked. It can be also asked for 4 marks in your theory examination. What are the characteristics of an good algorithm? It should be input should be specified, output should be obtained, it should be finite, it should be definite, number of steps should be definite, number of steps should be finite, it should be correct, it should be clear. इट शुड बी क्लियर एंड ईजी टू अंडरस्टैंड. अगर मैंने एक एल्गोरिदम लिखा है तो वो सिर्फ मुझे ही नहीं समझ में आना चाहिए, और जो दूसरे व्यक्ति जो अगर मेरा एल्गोरिदम यूज करेंगे उनको भी वो समझ में आना चाहिए. So it should be very, very clear and easy to understand your algorithm. So it should be ambiguous, unambiguous. It should be clear. It should be feasible. Remember and note one very important thing. Your algorithm should be independent of any program language. मैंने आपको स्टार्टिंग में ही बताया कि यूजर अपने ओन लैंग्वेज में एल्गोरिदम लिख सकता है. So it should be completely independent of any program language. If an algorithm is specifying any programming language, then it is not a good algorithm. An algorithm should be in user's own language and it is independent of any programming language. You can write algorithm for a programming language. There is no problem in that. But the best practice is that it should not be dependent. Suppose अगर मैंने एक algorithm लिखा और अगर मैंने सिर्फ C के लिए लिखा तो सिर्फ वो C में implement होगा. लेकिन अगर मुझे बोला गया कि नहीं आप C ना use करके Java use करो, then what will happen? Then I have to change the entire algorithm. Are you getting? Are you understanding क्या बता रहा हूँ मैं?
Yes sir.
लेकिन अगर मैं एक जनरलाइज एल्गोरिदम लिखता हूँ then that algorithm can be applied to C also, for Java also, for Python also. So it is a good programming practice that you write an algorithm which is independent of any programming language, which is one of the very good characteristics of an algorithm. कंप्यूटर प्रोग्राम, जनरली जब हमें बोला जाता है कि कंप्यूटर का प्रोग्राम बनाओ, उस समय पे हम क्या करते हैं? डायरेक्ट पेन लेते, पेपर लेते और हैश इंक्लूड stdio.h लिखना शुरू करते. बट what is this computer program? It is not directly that you should take a pen and start writing hash include stdio.h, hash include conio.h, void main. No. This is the general statements which are to be written for if we consider for C programming language. But what is a computer program? If this type of question is asked, then a computer program is nothing but it is a set of instructions. It is a set of instructions that helps the developer to perform certain tasks. What is this certain tasks? जो प्रॉब्लम दिया था आपको कि कैलकुलेट द एरिया ऑफ अ रेक्टेंगल, दिस इज अ प्रॉब्लम. एंड व्हाट विल बी द आउटपुट that return the desired output? Output will be the area of a rectangle, which will be obtained by computing length into breadth. By applying the formula for calculation of a rectangle, getting the value of length as input, breadth as input, applying the formula, performing the calculation and getting the output. If this is working, definitely your program will also work. Now just understand the workflow. First thing, अगर आपको area of a rectangle calculate करना है तो सबसे पहले क्या करना पड़ेगा? लेंथ इनपुट लेना पड़ेगा, ब्रेथ इनपुट लेना पड़ेगा, फॉर्मूला फॉर कैलकुलेटिंग द एरिया ऑफ अ रेक्टेंगल वहां पे अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा और उसके बाद आपको आउटपुट मिलेगा. डू यू हैव एनी डाउट इन दिस स्टेप्स?
No.
डू यू हैव एनी डाउट इन दिस स्टेप्स?
No, sir.
डेफिनेटली नो है. ठीक है. सो जब अगर कोई बच्चा बोलता है कि सर आई एम हैविंग डिफिकल्टी वाइल प्रोग्रामिंग, तो प्रोग्रामिंग में डिफिकल्टी इसीलिए आती है क्योंकि उसको पता नहीं है कि एक्चुअली करना क्या है. बट वंस अ स्टूडेंट ट्राई टू डेवलप अ एल्गोरिदम फॉर दैट प्रॉब्लम, definitely mark my word, he or she will never face any type of problem in coding.
Sir.
Yes.
So वो आपने कहा था मतलब अभी कि एल्गोरिदम ऐसा होना चाहिए कि वो इंडिपेंडेंट हो प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेजेस के.
Yes.
बट वैसे ना मैंने अभी एक कोड बनाया था जो पाथ फाइंडिंग करता है, मतलब शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ फाइंड, ऑप्टिमल सॉल्यूशन फाइंड करता है. बेसिकली वो कोड है ना, मतलब उसमें ऐसा होता है कि लिस्ट अपने आप जनरेट होती रहती है, मतलब ऐसे स्पेसिफाइड नहीं है. वो डिपेंड करता है कि रास्ता कितना बड़ा है और ये है. लो ऐसे अगर हम लोग
हेलो एक मिनट उस चीज को डायनामिक इनिशियलाइजेशन जो बोलते हैं, जो कि मैंने बताया, क्योंकि हमें रन टाइम कंपाइल के समय पे पता नहीं होता है कि कितने नए नोड्स रूट्स जुड़ेंगे उसमें, यही चीज बताई थी मैंने.
हाँ, तो वो सब वो पाइथन तो बहुत आराम से हैंडल कर लेता है, मतलब ज़्यादा डायनामिकली जो इंसर्शन हो रहा है लिस्ट के अंदर, वो जो लिस्ट जनरेट हो रही है बट अगर हम लोग उसको अगर सी में डालना चाहेंगे तो मेरे ख्याल से डालना बहुत ही मतलब बहुत मुश्किल है, क्योंकि सी में पहले उनको बताना पड़ेगा कि कितनी जगह आप लेने वाले हैं, मतलब उसको पहले ही बताना पड़ेगा। और ये तो हम लोगों को पता ही नहीं है, क्योंकि वो रास्ता तो उसको भी ढूंढना है, मतलब वो शॉर्टेस्ट मेज के अंदर एक शॉर्टेस्ट पाथ उसको खुद ढूंढना है। तो हम लोग उसको सी में नहीं लिख सकते, सो मतलब मैंने इसको सिर्फ पाइथन में लिख पाया हूँ मैं। तो
ओके।
ऐसे कोई कोई कोड्स ऐसे भी होते मेरे ख्याल से, ऐसे कोई कोई कोड्स भी होते होंगे जिनको हम लोग ऐसा लिख ही नहीं सकते सी में, क्योंकि वो सी उतना वर्सेटाइल नहीं है जितना पाइथन है।
इसीलिए तो आपने पाइथन का चूज किया ना, दैट्स
या
व्हाई यू हैव चूजन पाइथन. So now you know that whatever is my problem, Python is the best solution for that.
नहीं, सो इंडिपेंडेंट होना जरूरी है कि ये पूछ रहा हूँ मैं।
Yes, it should be independent, because while you were finding out comparing the difference between C and Python, you come to a conclusion that now for my type of problem, Python is good. So I will eliminate C and I will use only Python.
या
This is one type of decision you have made during algorithm analysis itself. So
या
once your decision is there that you have to stick with Python, you cannot go with C.
बट अगर कोई बोलेगा कि सी में ही बना के दो मुझे अभी इसको, क्योंकि
हाँ,
बेसिकली क्या है, सी ऐसा है जो हम लोग आर्डिनो चिप में डाल सकते हैं, जो रोबोटिक के लिए यूज होती है। सो
definitely.
अभी सो अगर मुझे अभी इसको सी में लिखने को बोला तो मैं मतलब लिखना मेरे लिए बहुत ज्यादा मुश्किल है, क्योंकि ये मतलब इसके अंदर वो डायनामिसिटी है ही नहीं सी के अंदर, इतना डायनामिक पाइथन में ही है।
Who told you?
मतलब वो लिस्ट, मतलब जो मैं जहाँ तक मैं पढ़ा था
Who
कि जो
told
सी।
you that C is not supporting dynamicity? Are you using smartphone, beta? Shubham?
यस यस सर, यस सर।
उसका जो कर्नल बना है कौन सी लैंग्वेज में बना है पता है आपको?
नहीं सर।
C++ और C में बना है उसका कर्नल.
सो सर वो उसकी लिस्ट का प्रॉब्लम आ रहा था, क्योंकि जब मैं सी में देखा था ना, जब सीख रहा था, तो उसकी लिस्ट को हम लोग पहले डिफाइन कर देते हैं एरे को, राइट। सो उसका ही प्रॉब्लम आ रहा था मुझे बस।
In array, okay, no need. In array, you can support runtime or dynamic initialization of array property. अगर आप use करोगे, so
या
it will be helpful for you to initialize all these values during runtime. Dynamic initialization of array is a concept you should try to understand first.
तब
If you initialize all these values using dynamic initialization, your memory will be allocated during runtime itself.
वाला सी में भी हो जाएगा।
Yes, C also supports runtime initialization of an array. So don't worry.
अच्छा, मतलब बस ये सीखना होगा।
C is a very basic programming language. If you don't understand C, it is one of the base for you to learn any type of programming language. And our
यस सर।
maximum focus will be on programming part of this data structure will be done in only C language. So you should understand what is C language.
यस सर।
And before defining a computer program, you should understand what is an objective of a computer program. First, understand the objective, calculate the requirement. See, अभी आपने देखा objective define किया, उसके हिसाब से आपने requirement analysis किया कि C और Python, so you went with Python. So that
या
was the part of your requirement analysis. Then you develop an algorithm. After developing an algorithm, if it is possible to make you understand about the process of flow of execution, then you have to write a flowchart. So once you are clear with your objective, requirement analysis, algorithm and flowchart, then only you can write a program. If you just eliminate these 4 steps and you directly go with the 5th step, definitely you will find it difficult to write computer programs. So we generally skip 1, 2, 3, 4 steps and we directly go to the step number 5. So while going for step number 5, these will create a problem for you and you will not be able to write computer programs. So I suggest you that before writing a program, before writing any computer program, you just follow this 1, 2, 3 and 4 number of steps. And after writing a program, you can get an input to check whether you are getting the required output or not. Okay.
यस सर।
So that's all. These are the some factors on which a computer program rely. Performance is one of the very big issues. Whenever you are writing a good code, it is only written for you to get a good performance, good output from whatever you have written. Okay. The next thing we shall discuss in the next lecture. Okay. So do you have any doubt, anyone? Do you have any doubt, anyone can ask? Either unmute or mic and speak. आप बोलो हाँ या ना, डाउट है क्या? Do you have any doubt? शुभम, डाउट है काय?
नहीं सर, पूछ लिया जो पूछना था.
Okay. Anyone else having any doubt? Farhat Ali?
No, sir.
सर
Okay. Yes, साहिली बोलो.
सर एक बार आप लिंक डेटा टाइप समझा के देंगे क्या?
Linked list data type.
यस सर.
Okay. Okay. Definitely. Why not? For other people, I would like to share one document. Is it possible? See, लिंक लिस्ट जो है ये सीक्वेंशियल स्ट्रक्चर फॉलो करता है, ठीक है, लेकिन इसका जो रन मेमोरी एलोकेशन होता है ये रन टाइम पे एलोकेट होता है. एरे का वैल्यू जो है मेमोरी एलोकेट होता है कंपाइल टाइम पे एलोकेट होता है. लिंक लिस्ट का जो मेमोरी एलोकेट होता है वो रन टाइम पे एलोकेट होता है. ओके. फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग लिंक लिस्ट जस्ट कंसिडर दिस सिंगल लिंक लिस्ट. अभी हम सिर्फ सिंगल लिंक लिस्ट की बात करते हैं. सी, एक लिंक लिस्ट में दो पार्ट में डिवाइड किया जाता है. ओके. फर्स्ट वन इज योर की, दैट इज योर डेटा, और अनदर वन इज योर नेक्स्ट विच इज अ लिंक यानी एड्रेस. एड्रेस किसका? जो नेक्स्ट नोड होगा आपका मेमोरी में जो इस नोड से जुड़ा हुआ है. लिंक्ड का मतलब क्या है? एक दूसरे से कनेक्टेड है. एक नोड्स एक दूसरे से कनेक्टेड है उसे हम लिंक लिस्ट बोलते हैं. ओके. सो ये एक दूसरे से कनेक्टेड है. तो अभी हमको डायग्रामेटिक बनाना है तो हमको कनेक्ट करना है तो हमने ये एरो बताया. लेकिन मेमोरी में कैसे कनेक्ट करेंगे? सो इस नोड का कुछ एड्रेस होगा. सेव करते समय इस नोड को कुछ एड्रेस असाइन हुआ होगा. तो ये जो एड्रेस है इस नोड का एड्रेस यहाँ नेक्स्ट पिछले नोड के प्रीवियस नेक्स्ट फील्ड में यहाँ पे अपडेट किया जाएगा. सपोज इस जो नया नोड अभी हमारे पास में नेक्स्ट नोड है उसका एड्रेस अगर 104 है तो ये 104 का एड्रेस यहाँ नेक्स्ट की जगह पे आपको डालना पड़ेगा. यानी आपका डेटा क्या है? की क्या है? 10 जो कि आपका डेटा है, और एड्रेस क्या है? 104. समझ में आया?
यस सर.
दिस इज लिंक लिस्ट. अगर हम इस टाइप्स की बात करेंगे तो ये जो मेमोरी एलोकेट होगा ये रन टाइम पे होगा. अब रन टाइम पे मेरे पास कितने नोड्स आएंगे ये तो मुझे भी नहीं पता, क्योंकि मैं रन टाइम पे पूछूंगा यूजर को एंटर हाउ मेनी नोड्स यू वांट. रन टाइम पे वो बताएगा कि आई नीड 5 नोड्स. सो दिस 5 नोड्स विल बी allocated वैल्यू ड्यूरिंग रन टाइम. बट इन एरे as soon as you write a program void main वहां पे आप डिफाइन करोगे int a of 3. so this value will be assigned during compile time, this value will be allocated during run time. see, if I write an array int a of 100 and मेरे पास कितने वैल्यू स्टोर होंगी उसकी? मेमोरी कितनी अलोकेट होगी? 100 बाइट्स. कितनी वैल्यू स्टोर होगी? 100 लोकेशन स्टोर होंगे मेरे लिए ए के लिए. इफ आई राइट इंट ए ऑफ 100 कितने लोकेशन स्टोर होंगे?
100.
100. But if I write values only for 3, what will happen? Only 3 out of 100 I am using only 3. So
3.
100 minus 3, 97 will be wasted. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
But in dynamic, I will ask you how many nodes you want. I will enter 5. So only 5 nodes will be allocated. Are you understanding?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the difference. So in dynamic memory allocation, no memory is wasted. But in static memory allocation, compile time memory allocation, memory may get wasted. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is what we have covered. We have characteristics of algorithm we have done. We have analyzed what is program. Also we have analyzed what are the programs. So I think unit number 1 has been completed here, but still I have some topics with you to explain you what is programming languages, basic operations, what are the prerequisites. Just take a screenshot of this. What are the characteristics of a good computer program? Take a screenshot of this. Okay, screenshot ले लिया?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's all about these are all the contents of unit number 1. If we try to see the syllabus, you can see this is all, everything has been covered for you for unit number 1. In next lecture, we will start discussing with unit number 2, that is nothing but array and hash table. Okay. So till that time, you just refers all the video which has been uploaded on your channel. Okay. So now I will stop recording. Thank you very much.